So a few things before getting into the build is some mods that are kind of mandatory and others that just make it a little bit better. But what is mandatory is the Artificer for Homebrew Comprehensive Reworks class and Imp UI, improved UI, because they're that's what the build is based off of. You kind of need it. Uh, Now, other things which are not necessary but do help with the aesthetic of it is the right, Fear Taylor's Camp Clothes and Fade's Camp Chest and Fade Room Colors. Immortal Scratch because Best Boy needs to live forever. Uh, Now, there are some additional spells that are added through Minstrel's Spell List, Player Handbook additional spells, Tasha's additional spells. Tasha's feats can be handy. I do use one or two of the telekinetic spells, and to make sure that you get to level 20, you need the unlock level curve. And the unlock level curve patch XP instant is just so I could get this done 1, 2, 3, but it is not necessary for the build. You're going to start with a custom character. Lex Luthor is a human, so you will start off as that. Let's just go straight to appearance and adjust him real quickly. Now his class is going to be an artificer. Your cantrips are going to be poison spray to mimic using kryptonite based weapons because kryptonite poisons Superman, and shocking grasp because it is seen several times that Lex is able to use electrical currents through his armor. For spells, you're going to select magic missile and shield. Magic missile because he has a bunch of missiles and tech hidden in his armor, and homing missiles just make sense. Shield because he has force fields, just puts it up just before he gets hit. Now, infusions. Starting off, you're going to take the enhanced defense, add +1 to armor class at level 10, it becomes 2. And then enhanced weapon, where it's the same +1 to melee and ranged attacks, +2 after you reach level 10. Subclass is going to be armor. You will get Guardian Thunder Gauntlets, which require an Arcane Jolt to activate. Your melee weapon attack will now deal 1d4 thunder damage. And you have a chance to inflict Compel Duel. You'll have Infiltrator Lightning Launcher, which will add 1d4 lightning damage to your ranged weapon, also requiring an Arcane Jolt. Resistant Armor allows you to choose an element to be resistant to for one long rest, requires an infusion, as well as heavy, medium, and shield proficiencies. For background, you're going to choose Artisan. The mod I did add a few little extra upgrades. And abilities. You're going to lower strength and put that into charisma. I would like to have charisma higher, especially if Lex is going to be a face of the party, but we'll deal with this later on. Next, you're going to get a skill proficiency because you chose a human. So for that, I would say put it in deception. Has the silver tongue. He's able to talk himself out of a lot of situations. Now, for skill proficiencies, I'll put it in Arcana to represent Lex's ability and knowledge in technology more than magic, because he's not going to look at magic and be like, ooh, magic. He's going to see another resource. History, because he's very well educated. Survival, because he's been out there, he's survived through quite a bit. He'll be able to take advantage of that. And intimidation. He's if he can't get you to do what he wants through smooth talking you, he will make threats. He makes them quite a bit, so it's good to have that. Now, for skilled expertise, I'll put it in deception and persuasion. Lex is a smooth talker, and in turn, we want it to reflect that way. So this is the best way to help those right, charisma checks that we're going to be a little low on because we don't have the highest charisma, especially early on. Right, as a level 2 artificer, you're going to get an additional level 1 spell slot, additional spells, and 2 more passives. Now, the spells you're going to choose is going to be Thunderwave and Ray of Sickness. Next, all too often goes up against a certain superhero who has really good hearing, so Thunderwave is a great way to damage that and do a little field control, keeping everyone away from him. And again, Ray of Sickness, upgraded version of his kryptonite weapon, capable of poisoning that same certain blue Boy Scout. Next, for inventions, your passives. You're going to choose Infusion Recalibration and Arcane Recalibration. It will give you one more Infusion and one more Arcane Jolt once per long rest. And seeing how these are what run your Artificer skills, it's going to be good to have. As a level 3 Artificer, you're going to get level 2 spell slots, additional spells, another Arcane Jolt, right tools for the job. Once per short rest, you can summon a Thieves Tool, Trap Disarming Kit, Shovel, and Bottle of Water. They disappear after 5 turns. You will also gain Guardian Defensive Field. At the start of the turn, you gain 2 temporary hit points. If damaged with temporary hit points, cause 2 force damage. Now, the spells you are going to choose is Blur. Lex has a lot of technology in his suit. It's going to allow him to make himself harder to hit by distorting where he is and confusing enemies. Next, what spell is also going to be the Heat Metal. It's basically going to give you the ability to get an enemy to drop a metal weapon, burn them if they're wearing metal armor, or if they refuse to drop the weapon, and in turn, they get the disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. And basically, it fits because Lex is just using some heat ray built into his armor to damage the enemy, like heat up their weapons and whatnot. Very Lex thing. Now, you are going to get to choose some additional proficiency with weapons as they go along. I personally want to do hand crossbows, heavy crossbows, because Lex is going to be getting some guns added through mods later on. But you don't have to. Choose whichever one fits how you want to play him. As an Artificer level 4, you'll get additional feats or stats, your choice, more spell slots, and new spells. Now, the spells you're going to choose are Sanctuary. Lex having himself another strong force field, one that's preventing himself from being damaged, or maybe even an ally. And the other is Protection from Poison. Lex is smart. He's going to make sure that he's protected from as much as he can, so this is a great choice to take. The infusions you're going to choose is Arcane of Magical Strength, which requires an infusion. And for strength saving throws and checks, you use your intelligence modifier. And enhanced arcane focus, again, an infusion is needed, but you will add +1 to spell attack rolls and +2 after level 10. For feat, I recommend the ability point improvement and push your intelligence up to 20. At level 5, you get Flash of Genius. Once per combat, when you or an ally fail a save throw, you can add your intelligence modifier. You get additional spell slots, more fusions, more arcane jolts, new cantrips, extra attack, and Guardian Thunder Gauntlet upgrades to do now 2d8 thunder damage and has a chance to inflict Compelled Duel and Infiltrator Lightning Launcher, your ranged weapon attack deals 2d8. You have a chance to inflict shock. Now, for the cantrip, I will recommend Mage Hand because it's not an ethereal hand. It's just another little helper bot that Lex built. For your spells, I will say Scorching Ray, an upgraded blaster that Lex would have, and Featherfall. All too often, certain flying heroes likes to pick him up and drop him off the top of buildings. This will make sure he doesn't get splat on the ground in case they miss. At level 6, you're going to get level 3 spell slots, 2 new passives. You're going to pick Fireball and Haste. Fireball is just basically a large explosion missile that he's going to launch at the enemy. And Haste is him overclocking his suit's servos, allowing him just to move a lot faster. For Infusion, you're going to get Spell Refueling Ring. For Inventions, you're going to give yourself Arcane Insight, so you gain advantage on intelligence saving throws and skill checks. And then the other infusion, Fast Thinking, which is going to give you one additional reaction point. For level 7 Artificer, you get additional spell slots, another Jolt, more passives, and your Guardian Thunder Gauntlets are upgraded so that you now do 2d8 thunder damage, chance to do Compelled Duel, a additional temporary hit points of 6, and if damaged while having temporary hit points, you will cause 6 force damage. And Infiltrator Model 2, Lightning Launcher, Power Steps. Your ranged weapons deal 2d8 lightning damage, chance to cause shock, and you receive 3 meters of additional movement speed, and your jump doesn't cost a bonus action. Now, for this level, you're going to choose Enhance Ability and Protection from Energy. At level 8, you get a level 4 spell slot, level 3 spell slot, and a few additional spells. I recommend Odaluk's Resilient Sphere, and then Stone Skin. For your infusion, you're going to go for Boots of the Winding Path. Now, for your level 8 feat, you're going to take Warcaster. You have a lot of spells that require concentration, and this is the best choice you can make at the moment. So, level 9, you're going to get an additional level 4 spell slot. You're going to get a saving throw bonus, which adds +1 to all saving throws. Magic Item Adept. Your understanding of magic items increases, gaining a +1 bonus attack roll, damage, armor class, and saving throw. So that's really good. You're going to get an additional fusion, arcane jolt, new cantrip, passive. Your guardian defensive field is going to increase. And then for your infiltrator, it remains mostly the same, but you now have a chance to inflict, on top of shocked, radiant orb, true strike. And of course, you get your 3 meters speed and jump doesn't cost a bonus. For your cantrip, I would say Ray of Frost. Lex loves tech, he studies tech, but now he would also know that Mr. Freeze. He would know how his tech would work, and he would have integrated some of it into his armor. Now, for your next spells, you're going to choose Flight and Glyph of Warning. Now, your spells this time is going to be Banishing Smite. You're basically banishing your enemy to the Phantom Zone for a short while. You're going to do 5d10, and enemies under 50 hit points are going to then be banished for 2 turns. But also, you're going to get that Cloud Kill spell. This is going to allow you to do some heavy damage because it's a kryptonite lace cloud. Certain blue Boy Scouts not going to have a good day once you trap them inside of this. Now, for infusions, you're going to choose Armor of Tools. Dexterity checks receiving will now start receiving your intelligence modifier instead. And for your inventions, you're going to get Arcane Dynamo. Basically, it restores 1 arcane jolt every 3 turns while in combat. And Synergistic Strike. Gain arcane synergy for 3 turns after killing an enemy. Level 11 artificers get additional spell slots. spell storing item, which is going to allow you to cast a level 3 spell without using a spell slot. Magic item savant, you under, your understanding of magic items increases. You now gain a bonus of +2 to attack rolls, damage, armor class, and saving throws. You're going to get an additional arcane jolt and perfected armor. Your armor is now going to combine with your ranged abilities, and you're going to do 2d8 thunder damage, a chance to compel duel, gain additional 10 temporary hit points. If you're damaged while having temporary hit points, you're going to do 10 force damage to who damaged you. You can pull them in and get a free melee attack next turn. Your ranged weapon attacks will do 2d8 lightning damage plus 1d6 lightning damage and a chance to inflict shocked radiant orb, true strike, and receive the additional 3 movement speed, and your jump does not cost a bonus action. All this for a single arcane jolt now. Now your spells this turn are going to be Wall of Fire and Greater Invisibility. Lastly, Artificer level 12, get level 6 spell slots and additional spells. Now for spells this level, get whichever ones you feel best fits the situation for you. For me, I'm going to choose Conjure Barrage and Freedom of Movement. Again, similar thing with infusions. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go with eh, Radiant Weapon. So for feat, you're going to select Actor. It's going to double your Deception and Performance checks. Now, if you added the mod to add levels 13 through 20, you will then multiclass into Wizard. Now, for your cantrips, you're going to pick Green Flame Blade, which is a kryptonite-based weapon. You know, it's not a magical flaming sword. It's a kryptonite-based weapon, and you're just going to use it against the big blue Boy Scout. You're going to have a little projector to distract your enemies, and because you're Lex, you'll be able to make friends real quick. Now, for spells, you're going to get Burning Hands, because, like I said before, Lex has a flamethrower in his armor. You're also going to get Absorbed Elements, little force field reaction ability that's going to half the damage from the next elemental attack that you're about to receive, and in turn deal 1d6 of that element onto your next target. Lex has used gravity devices before. Maybe you're trying to stop a certain blue Boy Scout from flying. Use this to kind of lock him in place. And Lex isn't above using some knockout gas to put some people to sleep. He would have been able to figure out a way to pack in different types of elemental damage. So, Chromatic Orb. And this is Lex. He's not going to want to be charmed. He's not frightened easy. So, protection from good and evil is pretty good. For your second level of wizard, you are going to get an arcane ward because you are going to keep the abjuration subclass. Arcane ward, the residual magic from your spells forms a ward around you that protects you from harm. The spells you are going to pick is Fog Cloud and Witch Bolt. Now, Put your prepared spells as you like, as you want. For level 3 wizards, you're going to get additional level 2 spells. Now, because we added the Mistress spells, we do have a wider choice. For spells this level, since we do have Mistress spells attached, we're able to add Silvery Barbs and Web. For 4th level wizard, you're going to get a level 2 spell slot and a cantrip. I will recommend the light cantrip given the fact that Lex is human and he's probably tired of wandering around in the dark by now. For your next spells, you're going to choose Knock and Shatter. For your feat, you're going to choose Fey Touched. You're doing it to get Misty Step and another +1 to your Charisma modifier. And Command, because Lex commands a big presence. Level 5, you get additional level 3 spell slot. Now, the spells you're going to pick is Counterspell, because Lex is very talented and figured out how magic in the world works, and he's going to shut it down with one of his devices. And Stinking Cloud, because it is a kryptonite laced gas that he's throwing out on the field, which is going to rob creatures from being able to take actions. Level 6 wizards are going to get another level 3 spell slot, a projected ward, which if a nearby enemy takes damage and you have an active arcane ward, you can sacrifice a ward to reduce their damage. Now, the next spells you're going to use are Adri's Tiny Hut. It's basically going to give you and your allies a short rest. And for 10 turns, it will remain up. And any creatures and objects inside are immune to all damage. And hold person. 7th level wizards get level 4 spell slot. For this level, you're going to choose Dimension Door and Summon Construct. And you're finally able to get your Lex spots up and running. Your final level is going to be Wizard level 8. You're going to get another level 4 slot and 2 more additional spells. Now, for your spells this level, I'm going to recommend Fire Shield and Force Field if you added the spells that I showed earlier modded into the game. And lastly, Ability Improvement. We're going to put this into Charisma. Lex is the face of the group. Now, lastly, all you need to do is find yourself a good set of clothes, something worthy of regality and nobility. Dye it green and go out and start saying those Supermen.